Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about all the crazy new changes that Blizzard has finally listened. They finally listened, guys. They listened to the player base. Yes, that's right. We are going to go over what they have changed in the Scarlet Enclave raid because I don't know about you guys, but I know my group and I know a lot of other groups have struggled to even go 3 out of 8. 3 out of 8 or even 4 out of 8. We've been struggling like crazy. But anyways, let's just dive right in and yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, so this was posted at about 9 p.m. Eastern time last night. So they, announced that there's boss adjustments and class changes, right? So we're going to go over what we actually have got, we've received last night. So the portable cannon will now deal its damage to targets even if they are immune to the stun portion of the effect. The Vanquished Tentacle of Cthulhu and the Eye of Marl have been added to the list of items that cannot be used while in a neutral area like Cenarian Hold or Light's Hope Chapel. The Scarlet Base Camp is now considered a neutral area where certain effects and spells like Homunculi cannot be used. Okay, that's cool. No more trolling, people. Class changes. We got Hunter. Carve will now benefit from effects that reference a strike type of ability. Was not a strike previously. Mage, we got Deep Freeze will now correctly have its damage increased by 20% per stack of Glaciate, was 10% per stack, that's cool. The Balefire Bolt debuff that increases the damage of Balefire Bolt by 25% per stack, now also increases the damage of the Pyroblast by the same percent. Paladins, we got increases and decreases to Judgment will no longer affect Seal of Command. Priest, Vampiric Embrace will no longer be subject to the healing reduction players experience in PvP. We got Rogue. The base physical damage reduction from just a flesh wound has been reduced to 20%. It was 30, guys. Shaman. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental two-piece set bonus will now no longer chain to other targets while Burn is engraved. Was casting a Flame Shock tick that chained even to targets that didn't have a Flame Shock active, and also chaining multiple times across targets if Chain Lightning was the triggering spell. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set bonus will now correctly mirror the damage of a Flame Shock tick. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set bonus will no longer play a Flame Shock animation from the caster whenever it activates. Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set bonus will now correctly strike targets with an instant tick of Flame Shock that are out of normal Flame Shock range of 20 yards. And we got Warlock. We got Shadow Bolt. Volley now causes Shadow Bolt to deal 30% reduced damage. It was 5%. Shadow Bolt Volley no longer deals reduced damage if there is only one target that is struck by your Shadow Bolt cast. It was always deals reduced damage while the rune is engraved. Okay. And these were the pretty big ones that I noticed, like I said, around 9 p.m. last night. We got Mason the Echo. The Berserk timer has been increased to 7 minutes. I believe it was 5.5 before, or 5, but yeah, I mean, increasing it by even a minute and a half is huge, right? I know my group kept hitting the enrage timer, and that's actually how we got our kill. He was enraged for like the last 10% of his health, and we burned him down. These Scarlet Cannonballs are now properly removed when the boss leashes and resets. That was how we did the fight. When we had like I think 35 or 38 people in our group last week, and it took us a couple tries to get Mason down, but we had to do that Scarlet Cannonball cheese to beat him. But now you shouldn't, that Berserk timer is massive. That's a big nerf to the boss there. Alexi the Beast Lord. Enervate and Enkindle have had their periodic damage reduced slightly. The spell visuals for Wild Fissure have been improved, and the Reborn Council Blast Wave's vertical arc from the knockback has been lessened. Good changes overall. Great changes to making the raid a little bit more accessible to players that aren't complete pump lords or parse lords or whatever you want to call them, right? Alrighty, so at about maybe a couple hours after they released that, so that other the notes came out at 9 p.m. and then this was posted maybe I want to say at like almost 1 a.m. ish, Eastern time. But anyways, yeah, they actually gave us more adjustments and nerfs and fixes that they didn't say before, right? So this says, Blizzard, this is from Blizzard. Hi all, we've seen a bit of confusion about the Scarlet Enclave adjustments posted in today's hotfix notes here, and wanted to post an additional note ahead of tomorrow's North American resets to clarify that these are not the only adjustments we have planned this week. The adjustments detailed in the post earlier this evening are already live as of today, which was yesterday. But the remainder of the adjustments we have planned needed a bit more time for testing, but are ready and waiting for deploy, and with regional downtime starting tomorrow. So we just had our regional reset at 11 a.m. Here's an overview of the adjustments coming with regional maintenance tomorrow. So, as of today, obviously, Solistraza, Beastmaster, and Mason and their ads have had their HP reduced by 15%. That is massive. That is even more nerfs than Mason, like with the cannonballs and the enrage timer being increased, have gotten, right? Reborn Council, Lillian Voss, and Calderon and their ads have had their HP reduced by 10%. That's another massive nerf. Reborn Council Enrage increased from 5 minutes and 30 seconds to 7 minutes, guys. That is big. That is very big. A lot of people were stuck on that 5.5 time Reborn Council Enrage timer, right? Lillian Voss's Enrage timer has been increased from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. So you got an extra minute to kill Voss there. Beatrix Trash HP lowered by 20%. Now I already felt like after the nerfs from Beatrix last week were enough to have a lot of people clear it, but having the trash HP lowered by another 20%, that's going to open it up basically for like most pug groups and everything to just go in there and at least get Balnazar and Beatrix down. So you could at least 2 out of 8 try and go for your Ashbringer item that you need. So there you have it. Those were all the changes and nerfs and hotfixes that you needed to know, and the class tweaks and all that good stuff. But I did want to talk about one last thing at the end of this video. I did want to go over and address the concern and the voices of a lot of the players, right? For Season of Discovery, a lot of this player base was not able to clear this entire raid. I mean, look at my group. We've only been able to do 3 out of 8 before these nerfs just went live today, and we're gonna be raiding tonight. So if you do want to watch that tonight, I stream at 8 p.m. Eastern, and our raid is at 8 p.m. So don't forget to tune into that if you want to see. It's just Pokeperry TV. But yeah, that should be good. But yeah, like they should really focus on doing, like, they should have done a hard mode and a normal. You know, like a heroic and a normal. Make it like so you could right click your portrait like you always did in every version of WoW and turn on heroic or, you know, mythic, or even, you know, if they wanted to do 3 difficulties, I'm fine with that too. But make it so that normal players that don't play 8 hours a day and are, you know, 1150 gear score or whatever, and super pump lords and parse lords, make it so that other players can enjoy it, because a lot of people were turned off. And I noticed this last week. We tried pugging about 10 people or 12 people in our raid, and it was a nightmare. It took us over an hour. We were supposed to start at 7 p.m. We wound up starting at 8 or 8:15 or 8:30. Like, it took us almost an hour, over an hour, to just gather people to try and go in and clear this raid, because technically you really needed 40 people. If you didn't have 20 people that were fully geared up, ready to go for this raid, you were at a big disadvantage, especially with those enrage timers. It was very hard to do it. So I know this should be well received by the player base as a whole. I know a lot of people wanted these changes and wanted it to be a little bit easier, so it's a little bit more accessible to the average Season of Discovery player. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up. If you did enjoy it or find it helpful or useful, please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.